21st. Magic all morning.
And back with you on Get Up, and let's talk about the Ravens, shall we? They're focused on improving the passing game. Last year, on throws outside the numbers, Lamar Jackson attempted just 151 such passes, completing 62%. Both were good for 27th in the league, but that wasn't all on Lamar, as the wideouts were really unproductive. They ranked last in the league in receptions and yards, while only having one receiver over 500 yards. Now, Lamar is still a former MVP who led the Ravens to the playoffs in the past 3 years, and head coach John Harbaugh knows it's only a matter of time before the mega contract extension comes Lamar's way.
Look what he's done. He's going to get paid. You know, he knows that. The question becomes what's he going to do? You know, what's his legacy going to be as a quarterback?
It seemed like today, especially, the deep ball was working for you guys. How much of that part of your game have you been working on?
Yeah, Mr. Jameson, we've been working, not just me, all the QBs and, the receivers, we've been getting together and trying to make that a big emphasis for us this year. Well, we're just trying to be more consistent this year and, start some practice and hopefully it's transition to the game.
All right, it's a good thing when your coach is saying he's going to get paid. I'm sure Lamar likes to hear that. So, Booger, I'll come to you. What improvements need to happen for the Ravens offense, not just to become better, but to become elite? Because that seems like it's what it's going to take to really challenge the Chiefs out there.
Well, everyone focuses on Lamar, and I get it, but to me, it's more of a philosophical thing. The Ravens want to run the football. They want to pound and ground and be physically dominant. They have to change their mindset. How do you become more explosive? How do you become less predictable? How do you put your quarterback in some advantageous situations? Let's be honest. When you run the ball at an elite level, it should be really easy to throw the ball. And here's why. Because as a defender, I have to commit extra people and extra safety to stop in the run. Therefore, it's really one-on-one coverage on the outside or some form of 3-deep zone, which is single high safety, not to get into the weeds. But it becomes easier to throw the football when you can run it the way they do. So they just got to change their philosophy. Early on, throw the football. The best down to throw the football in the NFL is first down. Throw it on first down. Give your quarterback some very easy looks, and then become more explosive, because Lamar is going to get the blame. Lamar's going to get the credit, but it's more of a philosophical standpoint that they have to have as an organization. This is how we want to play. Until they change that, it's really going to be unfair to blame Lamar or blame the receivers.
Okay, so for you, it's about a philosophy change. Canty, what do you think? What does this offense need to do to become not better, but elite?
Well, here's the thing. I think you still have to incorporate the run game and have Lamar Jackson be the focal point of that, because he is a unique talent. Like, there is nobody in the NFL that does what he does. And so I'd hate to have to take that away from him. But to Boog's point, I think this offense has to continue to grow. And it seems like down in Baltimore, there have been signs of that this offseason with Greg Roman. Being able to have Lamar operate under center so your play action is more effective, creating voids between the second and third level defenders for those chunk plays down the field in the passing game. I think Baltimore is making strides in the direction that Boog is talking about them going in, not to mention what they've done in terms of getting some bigger bodied receivers down there to help out in terms of being able to throw up some of those 50-50 balls for Lamar, signing Sammy Watkins in free agency, using a high draft pick on Rashad Bateman. All of those things will help Lamar Jackson in the downfield passing game. So I just think that this offense is going to continue to build on what they already do well, but they're also going to incorporate some new wrinkles that are going to give a lot of defenses around the NFL some trouble.
And as you mentioned, they improved the receiving core. But Jeff, I come to you. How soon, because this is also about money as well, how soon do you see Lamar and the Ravens agreeing to a long-term deal?
Well, there's an interesting component to this in that Lamar Jackson does not have an agent. He's not represented by the standard representation that most NFL players have. His mother manages a lot of his business affairs, and he has made clear that, look, I'm not worried about this. I'm worried about winning a championship. And the way he says it, if you hear him say it, you actually might believe him. A lot of times that comes across as being a player cliche, but this is a guy who has bet on himself quite often. In the past, if you remember coming out of the NFL draft, going into the draft, he basically said, I'm not going to do any of the on-field drills. I'm not going to run the 40 because I want you to view me only as a quarterback. So I'm only going to throw. He's done things unorthodox since the beginning. So I wouldn't be surprised if he goes into this season betting on himself without a contract, comes out of the thing, and then forces the Ravens' hand to pay him as much as he possibly wants.
All right, Booger, go ahead.
Here's the question I have, Jeff, and you mentioned that his mother represents him. To me, that's a tricky situation because Lamar is a quarterback that uses his legs a lot. And I know there are a lot of agents out there right now, they wouldn't let him play this next season unless he got a new deal up around Deshaun Watson or Patrick Mahomes. So this is going to be really key because I get it. You want to let your mother handle things, but I think every agent out there would say, Lamar, you're not playing another down unless we get this mega deal because every other quarterback has gotten that mega deal right now. So this is a very, very tricky situation for Lamar.
Okay, guys, we got to leave it right there and we want to come back and maybe talk about this a little bit later. We shall see. But first, I got to get you over to the NBA because we got to run the floor. What a night it was in the league where the Philadelphia 76ers had a 26-point lead at one point and a 99% chance of winning the game. And then the Hawks broke those odds, storming back and beating the Sixers 109-106. Trae Young had a career playoff high with 39 points, and the Hawks are now up 3-2 in that series. Now, the Clippers, they were without Kawhi Leonard last night, but Paul George stepped up in a big way and led L.A. to a road win over the Jazz, 119-111. George finished with 37 points. The Clippers will look to close out the series tomorrow in L.A. And finally, Game 6 between the Nets and the Bucks tonight on ESPN. Brooklyn will be looking to close out the series in Milwaukee, but there is plenty of uncertainty heading into that game as both Kyrie Irving and James Harden continue to deal with injuries. We are so happy to be joined by Adrian Wojnarowski right now to talk about this and some other news. And Woj, I'll start you out with the Nets. What are you hearing about the latest on Kyrie and James Harden?
Well, Ryan, you know, now that James Harden is back on the court, you're not getting him off of it, and he'll be in the lineup for the Nets in that Game 6. But Kyrie Irving continues to rehab that ankle, get treatment on it every day. Right now, there's no expectation that we would see him in this conference semifinal series. And if the Nets do advance and beat Milwaukee, you know, they'll hope that as he continues to treatment and rehab, perhaps there's a chance he could play in the next round, but they don't have a real timetable on Irving's return yet.
Okay, and that crucial Game 6 tonight in Milwaukee, the Nets having the chance to close it out against the Bucks. Now, I want to talk to you about the Clippers series. PG-13 stepped up in a big way, but the question is still about Kawhi. What are you hearing about his health, and is there even a possibility that he might play for Game 6?
No, there's no chance he's playing in Game 6 or if there is a Game 7 in this series. And there's not a lot of optimism that, you know, Kawhi Leonard is going to be in a place where he could play again. Even if the Clippers advance, they're going to know more about the status of that knee, the severity of that knee injury, perhaps in the next 24 to 48 hours. They are hopeful that this is not a severe injury that not only would impact him for the rest of this season, but perhaps next season. But those answers are still coming for the Clippers, and obviously that was a monumental win for them last night in Utah to have a chance now to go home and close out.
Wow, to think about this impacting Kawhi next season is a scary thought for Clippers fans. Now, I want to turn your attention to somebody who's not even playing right now, but so crucial to these playoffs, CP3. He's currently on the NBA's health and safety protocols. He's in there right now. What are you hearing about him and his status?
Well, you know, Chris Paul, the Suns, what they're really rooting for right now is Utah in Game 6 of that other Western Conference semifinal, because that forces a Game 7 on Sunday, and it pushes back until at least Tuesday when the Suns would have to play again. It buys Chris Paul more time in the health and safety protocol. They're going to reevaluate on Saturday with Chris Paul, and I'm told that, listen, there's optimism, there's hope that he's not going to miss any kind of a significant part of the Western Conference Finals, maybe one game, but, you know, you're at the mercy of the testing and in that protocol. And so certainly the Suns just would like to be able to buy some more time here, watch the Clippers Jazz not only play a Game 7, maybe play a few overtimes in a Game 7.
That would be very good for Suns fans, and I'm certainly sure they're hearing you right now and saying, thank you, Woj, for giving us some optimism. We shall see if Chris Paul is back for Game 1. Appreciate the time, my friend.
Thank you.
All right, well, after a spectacular performance by KD in Game 5, we have Game 6 for Durant and the Nets and at the Bucks tonight at 8:30 Eastern.